Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to extend my warm welcome to the management team of Nanyang. We are Nanyang consultants. My name is Johnny. My colleague Widi, Vic, and Musin is going to do a presentation on the corporate business strategy for Nanyang. So, the agenda that we are going to go through today, we are going to go through on the problem statement. Of course, after that, we are going to look into the mandates, what actually is being given from the management team to us to perform on this Nanyang future for the growth strategy. And also, we are going to look at the key issues and some of the analysis that is going to be done by my colleagues. We go through the alternatives. Of course, it's going to be followed by the recommendations, the action plan, and the timelines, the impacts on the financials, and also the success factors to gauge whether we are really there in our achievement. After that, the floor is going to be open for question and answers. So what is actually the problem that we are looking at? What we can see is actually for Nanyang, the question is that, where are we going now? After we have been bought over by many companies, and now being sold to the private equity firm, where are we going in 2010? And the mandate that was given by our new owner is that we need to achieve 3 times revenue in the next 4 years, and we need to achieve 2 times profit in the next 4 years. So how to achieve that? That's why we are here. Practically from us, what we see, the 2 key issues that we are looking at is distribution channels and the marketing. These are the 2 key issues that we are going to discuss in the next good 25 minutes. Of course, to look into that, we got to understand what is happening actually in the industry. And we are looking at several things. We are looking at the suppliers. The way we look at it, the suppliers is practically abundant. It's pretty much moderate. It's also a lot of locations for the springs as the supply of the water. It's pretty critical actually to lower the cost. As far as the competitors, we look at the market as a very competitive market. Why is that so? Because it's a highly commoditized product. There are a lot of big players such as Nestle's. There are small niche players which is going with the premium market like Evian, Esca. And of course, there are other distilled water player that is not so popular like Aquafina or even like Dasani by Pepsi and Coke. In terms of the consumer bargaining power, we think that it's really low. Why is that so? Because pretty much there isn't any much, they are pretty price sensitive and they don't have any bargaining power to buy water. So they are looking for brands, going with the healthier lifestyle, and also trying to find water in a convenience location. Substitutes, whatever that you can find to quench your thirst, pretty much there isn't any experience that you are looking for. As for the barriers to entry, from our perspective, it's pretty high because in order for you to be successful in a commoditized product, you got to have a strong market, a strong distribution channel, you have to be everywhere, you have to have a good brand, and practically you'll be able to have an economic of scale to bring down your costs so that you'll be able to cater for the mass market. So the next slides on the strategy control map is going to be presented by my colleague, Widi. Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. Okay. Now, next we look at the industry player, especially in the bottled water and spring water, to see how is their position in terms of the brand equity and the y-axis, as well as we look at the distribution network. First, we see that on the Esca and Evian, they are in the premium segment, so they have a high brand equity. And we look at the Nestle here, they also have a high brand equity, and also they have a high distribution network. Then there are another players on the distilled water, which is Aquafina and Dasani, which is they have a high distribution network, but slightly lower brand equity than Nestle. And also we have the remaining private labels, which is having a low distribution network as well as low brand equity. And where are we now? Nanyang, I would say they are having a lower brand equity compared to Nestle and the SK as well as Evian. And as well as in terms of distribution network, they are not as high as Nestle as well as Aquafina. We see in this position. The circle size represent the market shares in Canada. Then we look at the internal as well as the external environment of the Nanyang. Nanyang has been well known having a strong brand equity, brand and quality. They're environmentally friendly in terms of operation and the whole process, end-to-end process of the company. And we also have a strategic fit with the shareholder. As we know, our shareholder has been having many investment in the food and beverage industry. In terms of weaknesses, Nanyang, we have a limited distribution network, and we have, as we know, the sales space has been monopolized by Nestle, so we have a limited sales space. Then we look at the external environment. Due to global recession as well as bad publicity on the environment, this has caused the market to be shrink. And due to many industry players in this water industry, the market has been very competitive. But if we look at from the opportunity side, the exclusivity agreement that has been going on, I think the trend will be going down, as well as some of the agreement is going to be expired soon. And also there's a trend on the consumer focus for the healthy lifestyle. Then if we look at some numbers in the beverage market, if we see overall from the several types of the beverage type, we see that among all of them, bottled water still, since 2002 until 2007, has shown a very healthy growth, about 69.5%. Next, I'll hand over to Vic to talk about the market trend as well as the alternatives.
Good evening, everyone. First, allow me to take everyone through a very high-level understanding of the market and consumer trend. Driven by lifestyle, we see that people nowadays would advocate a more healthier lifestyle in terms of diet, in terms of activity. But beyond physical needs, there's also a search for meaning and community. Driven by regulatory environment, we see that there is a trend towards the green movement, toward more concern for the environment. All of this, at a high level, impact consumer needs, and later we'll see how they would impact the needs for bottled water as well. But as a conclusion, we can say that for consumer need, there is a need not only for self, but extending that need to the society or the environment as well. A certain cost that could be environmental or some other worthwhile cost or some other worthwhile cost. Now, keeping that at the background, let's move to the water market. Sorry. Okay. Now, keeping that consumer high-level priority value at the background, let's look at the bottled water market. In the low-tier market, we see that mostly these are the distilled water. Okay? People buy the bottled water in the low-tier level mainly for cost, and they are mainly bought through discount stores. If we look at the price points using that using index of 100 as a basis, we see that the low-tier bottled water market is has the lowest price point. Moving up to the mid-tier, we see that people mainly buy bottled water in the mid-tier level based on familiarity. It's something that they know, they've heard of, they've seen of in an advertisement. It's something that's readily available. Right? These are mainly bought in consumer stores, and they're mainly bought in smaller sizes, mainly for convenience, about 250 to about 300 ml sizes. At a price point perspective, this is about 10% higher than the low-tier products. Looking at the premium segment, we see that people might mainly buy premium bottled water for brand, for quality, and they're mainly bought from modern trade stores and also after to go type of convenience stores like 7-Eleven. Mainly these are bought in medium to big sizes because these are the people who could afford, who would like to buy it not only for themselves but for their family as well. And from a price index perspective, this is about 15% from the mid-tier market. Now, who are the players in that market? As mentioned earlier, in the low-tier market, mainly we have the distilled water or the private labels brands. In the mid-tier market, that's where Naya is mainly playing at this point. And it is also where the big player, Nestle, is very, very strong. In the premium market, we mainly have Eska and a couple of other smaller other brands that are not that strong. What's the key takeaway from this page? First is that this is not where Naya is. This is not where we are. We are a spring water bottled product. We are not in the distilled private label segment. Currently, we are in the mid-tier segment. We don't have a very strong brand. We don't have a very good distribution channel. And we're competing with a very strong player, Nestle, who have both economies of scale in terms of distribution and very good brand value. In the premium market, we are not there. There are a couple of brands, but we are not there. Is it attractive enough? If you look at the top portion, volume-wise, it's about 20% of the whole overall market. Value-wise, it's about 35% of the overall market. The next slide, let's look at some of the alternatives that we have considered. First is stay in Quebec, but diversify into other beverages as one way of expanding, of achieving our growth target of 4 times in 3 years. Is that a viable option? If we look at the beverage market, how has it been growing over the past 5 years, from 2002 to 2007? Flat. It's mainly 0. And if you look at other similar beverages, the growth rate is also at a similar level. Another option that has come up was sell spring water in full fill-up stations. If we look at the fill-up station, it mainly the concept that people have about fill-up stations is that these are distilled water. These are the non-premium water. We are spring water. Spring water mainly must, as you know, a picture in the mind. This picture is something that comes out of spring. It's not something that comes out of a tap or a filling station. If we sell our spring water in a filling station, that would dilute the value of the product. Third option that came up was to expand in the northeastern region in the United States. The United States is a market that we are not familiar. Maybe it's not yet time for us because we need to get a better understanding of how that market works. And if we look at the players currently in the market is so fragmented. There are about 20 players that make up 70% of the whole market. If we want to go there, we will just be another small player, albeit in a bigger market. The fourth alternative is to expand nationally in Canada, but starting on key strategic regions. We don't mean going coast to coast at the initial stage, because we don't have the economies of scale to compete in terms of distribution costs. We'll focus more on initially on key strategic regions, on the largest city, but we need to have a focused strategy. And what would that be? First is to expand our target segment to the premium market, not letting out of the mid-tier market, but expand our target into our presence into the premium market. Second is to leverage on the current brand position that we have. We are currently an environment conscious and environment friendly brand, and that we need to leverage on that position. But as we expand, we need to have a more focused product offering, a new product offering, and a more focused distribution strategy that would attract our distribution channels to sell our product, to have our products in their shelf. Now, these are the alternatives that we considered, and mainly this is what we would recommend. My colleague, Mohsin, will take us through the more details of this recommendation.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Mohsin, and I will be discussing the strategies that our group is recommending. So, what is our strategy? The basic recommendation, it would be a 4-year plan. Why 4-year? Because that is the time frame which is required by our parent company to show results: 3 times revenue, 2 times profit margin. So we start with the strength of the company. We've already mentioned it has a history, it has a brand, and it has a quality. What about the product? It's a commodity product. So we need to be very good with marketing to create a niche for our product. So, way forward, what can we do? We need to build brand alliances. We need a distribution network within US and within Canada. The history is we had a better distribution channel with Coca-Cola, and the product was available in US, and we had a good market share in US. So we can leverage on the fact, again, going forward. Secondly, we need a new product line. We're selling water. We should also focus on the premium glass bottled products and then canned water. We'll discuss these products further in the following slides. Then we need a new branding and marketing campaign. We need to focus on shelf space. If you look at our weaknesses right now, one of them is we don't have enough shelf space. So we need to focus on that. Okay. Before I discuss the recommendations in details, just 2 numbers that I would like to show here. One is the bottled water market. If you look at the entire beverage industry, we thought about different products, juices, carbonated drinks. But if you look at the bottled water market, that is the only market which is growing in the last few years. So that is the potential within this industry. If you look at the other markets, they're quite stagnant. Secondly, if you look at one of our competitors, it's Esca. Esca is a newly launched premium bottle manufacturer. And in the last 2 years, since 2007, they have gained a market share of above 1.5%. And in just Quebec, they have a market share of 6.9%. So that is a big market share in just a span of 2 years. So what do we recommend? We recommend 2 new launches. The first one is the premium brand that we need to launch to compete with Esca and the other brands within that niche market. What is the packing? We would recommend plastic bottles and both glass bottles, because Esca is available with plastic bottles, and with glass bottles, we would like to create alliances with a lot of partners that we would discuss further in the slides. Then, who is the market? Again, Esca market. Lessons, premium brand market is still growing. Secondly, we need a mid-tier can market, which is packing 300 ml cans and 500 ml cans. What is the rationale behind it? 500 ml bottle market, especially with the biggest stores, have contracts with Nestle, and we cannot put our bottled 500 ml bottles there. So with canned, we have eco-friendly, safe and healthy packing, and we can compete in that market. So key, compete Nestle with the 500 ml bottling, and at the same time, Metro and Sobeys. Okay, another key strength that we have, our parent group is in the consumer business. What are their key strengths? They have they own Outback Steakhouse, they own yogurt companies, they own tea companies. So what should we do as a company? We should back on their distribution channels. We should form alliances with them. This is our biggest advantage right now. Our parent company owns all these companies, and if we start alliances and using their distribution channels, let's say one of our recommendations is we form a distribution channel with yogurt company. That is a very different product. There's no conflict of interest. But if we use their distribution channel, we save a lot of distribution cost. We do not need to develop our distribution channels in the short run, but in the long run, that is part of our long-term strategy. Then, as far as alliances are concerned, when we're introducing a new premium brand, we're recommending that we form alliances with, let's say in this case, Outback Steakhouse. It's a global brand. If we form an alliance and we distribute our product to them, that's where we can create a niche market within the bottle industry and within that premium brand industry. So why do we use distribution channels of our partner companies? Cost efficient, it's quick, we can expand right now exponentially. We just need to come up with good contract terms, and then we can start exporting products. And we have more reach because our partners are present globally, especially in the US. That is where we plan to expand. So what is our brand and marketing? Again, premium brand launch. We would recommend that when we're launching this canned water product, we should learn from Red Bull. What did they do? They had their can-shaped fridges, refrigerators, small ones. They were kept in all convenience stores. So if we have something like that with our water product, it would create brand value, it would create our shelf space, it would motivate these convenience stores, 7-Elevens, metros to keep our products. And most of these fridges, they're placed when you enter the shops. So that would actually get a lot of audience. At the same time, it would also encourage them to give us more shelf space. That is where we plan to negotiate with them. The marketing budget, we are proposing a $2 million marketing budget, and which would be used in the next 4 years. Again, buying shelf space, buying these fridges, branding everything, coming up with a branding of bottles. So how do we start? We start with Quebec. Why? Because this is the biggest growth market. When we saw ESCA, and right now if we analyze the growth in the last 5 years, this is the biggest growth market. So that is where we want to start. Ontario, that is there, that has always been there, and USA. Some financial numbers. When we look at the market size, in 2009, it was about 400 million. If you look at our market share, it's 4.5%, which comes to about a sales number of 18 million. This is a financial forecast of where we see by 2013. We expect our revenues to multiply by 3 and our profit numbers to double. Cost of marketing would be recovered in 2 years' time, and we would save a lot on excess distribution channels because of our partner groups. Success factors. If we can gauge our success by 2012, that would be revenue increase of 80%, 25% more shelf space within the bottle segments in distributor outlet stores, market share of 8% by 2012, and we need to build alliances with sports and premium brand partners. What are the risks? Distributors in US, what happened with Coke in the 90s, that can happen again. We form a distribution channel and we sell our products, it kicks off, and then they launch their own products. So in the long run, we need our own distribution channel. What is the exit strategy? If canned water does not work, and we are not getting attention and market share, we exit in 3 years' time.
Thank you, Nanyang. Please
Yeah.
finish your sentence, 20 seconds.
Yeah, that is all. So now we are open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nanyang. We will 15 minutes of question and answers for our judges with 1 minute warning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like you to just expand a little bit. I noticed the relationship you made with Red Bull and the success that Red Bull has had. Could you just expand on that a little bit? I want to understand, because I'm not 100% comfortable that consumers would necessarily buy water in the same type of distribution.
What did Red Bull do? There have been a lot of energy drinks in the market, but what did Red Bull do? They created a brand. They created an energy with their marketing campaign. Their marketing campaign was very strong. So if we create something close to Red Bull with a 500 ml or a 300 ml can, which gives a theme of freshness, and when you enter, they have innovative fridges. Then we also recommended that form alliances with hockey teams. In case of Canada, Montreal. If you do that, and you see a supporter wearing our Naya uniform during a hockey game, skiing and passing these cans to players, that is where we create value for our brand, and that is where we create need for this water. Because at the end of the day, it's a commodity. We need to have very strong marketing campaign. So we want to create alliances with hockey teams and other sports and send our representatives there with a small fridge or a handy bag where they're throwing cans around to players and skiing on the rinks. That is where we create value, and that is what we want to build on.
We are in the middle of a price war. Is this the time to introduce a premium brand? And if we did so, would we do it under the Naya label?
The price war mainly is in the low tier and the mid tier segment. That's why what we recommend is to introduce a new brand that is mainly targeted in the premium segment, where the price erosion is not that strong, where the competition is not as stiff compared to the other two segments in the market.
As you know, one of our big issues, of course, is the environmental pressures that we're facing, and bottled water is just increasingly not the thing to do anymore. I'd be interested in your strategy of moving to canned water, because the packaging itself, we can argue about the environmental friendliness of bottles versus cans, but you still are distributing water, there's a shipping, there's all of the environmental impact of all the rest of the activity. And I'm just wondering, will cans get around that?
See, right now, if you look at all other products that we have, all other beverages, they're all canned. So our focus is that we should diversify our packaging. We right now only have plastic bottles, which is not very popular in this day and age. So going forward, we should diversify our packaging into both glass and can. And with can, you can create that image again. And at the same time, it is, compared to plastic, it is eco-friendly and it is recyclable. And we can market it in such a way that most of the raw product that we use, we're recycling it. So that was our thought process behind this recommendation.
As far as distribution, you mentioned that we need to partner with somebody who can help distribute our product. We failed with Coca-Cola.